Which part of nervous system gets affected in Bell's palsy? Friends, in Bell's palsy, there is this nerve called as facial nerve or a seventh cranial nerve which is affected. This nerve is responsible for controlling facial expressions, taste sensation in the first 1/3 of your tongue. It is responsible for secretion of tears and saliva and is to an extent responsible for your balance and hearing sensation. This particular nerve starts from your brain at cerebellopontine angle. This particular nerve starts from your brainstem, travel through your skull via a foramen called as internal auditory canal. This is a tiny bony area. From there, it sharply bends within the canal and exits out from a stylomastoid foramen, which is the bony prominence that you feel behind your ear. That's why people, when they suffer from Bell's palsy, experience a severe pain in the area behind this ear, because this is the exit point of the nerve, and whenever the nerve gets compressed, it impacts this area. After this foramen exit, this nerve further comes forward and then branches out in 5 branches like this. These branches are branch number 1 called as temporal branch or frontal branch. This controls movements in your forehead. For example, the frontalis, which is responsible for your eyebrow raise, orbicularis oculi, which is responsible for your blinks, and corrugator supercilii and procerus, which is responsible for your frowning. The next branch of the facial nerve is zygomatical branch. This branch is responsible for sending power to the cheek muscles, especially your smile muscles like zygomaticus major, minor, and even to the lower eyelid muscle. The third branch is called as buccal branch. This controls movement of your mouth and cheeks. Muscles like buccinator, which is your whistling muscle, the zygomaticus minor, which is your smile muscle, your levator labii superioris, the muscle which is responsible for raising your upper lip upwards, are the muscles that are controlled by this branch. The fourth branch is marginal mandibular branch. It moves towards the lower lip and supplies muscles like depressor anguli oris, mentalis, etc., which is responsible of movement in the lower side of your mouth. And then comes the next branch, which is cervical branch, which supplies muscles of the neck, especially platysma, which will pull the corner of the mouth downward like this. The other important branch of facial nerve is nerve to stapedius, which controls the sound sensation inside your ear. That's where a lot of people who suffer from Bell's palsy are sensitive to sound, because it dampens the loud sound. The second branch is posterior auricular nerve. This moves the muscles of the outer ear and the muscles of your skull, the occipitalis. And the next branch is the posterior belly of digastric branch, which supplies the digastric muscle, which is on the side here at the base of the neck. This particular nerve helps in swallowing and raising of the hyoid bone. And then the last nerve is the nerve to stylohyoid. This elevates the hyoid bone up during activities like speaking and swallowing. Whenever there is facial paralysis, the place of bony canal, which is behind this ear here, is where there is swelling that will come on the nerve, which will compress the nerve and block all the supply of information, or you can say neurotransmitters that are coming from the brain, which will keep your face or make your face paralyzed. That's why you are not able to move your facial muscles when you get Bell's palsy or facial paralysis. As you recover over a period of time, this compression is released and you observe that your movement starts coming back. What happens in synkinesis is sometimes there is this miswiring that will happen. Here, what happens is the other nerve starts getting activated when you are trying to contract or activate one particular branch of the nerve. This is a learned non-used or else a learned pattern that develops over a period of time when you are constantly practicing facial movements, forcing these facial muscles through various modalities like electrical muscle stimulation or else strong facial exercises. And that's why it's important that whenever you are suffering from Bell's palsy, you need to be very gentle in your facial exercises and stimulating the facial muscles through other alternative mediums like gentle stroking, tapping, etc., so that you don't end up overstimulating these nerves, which will prevent synkinesis in later stages. So, this is how the central nervous system controls your face and gets affected when you suffer from Bell's palsy. So, if you are someone who is suffering from Bell's palsy or synkinesis and you want to know more about your condition and how to deal with it, feel free to reach out to us so that we can help you out better. On that note, I'll end this video here and I'll see you in another video. Thank you.